Hey everybody, I am David, and today I am going to be talking about Arrow, Season 6, Episode 10, Divided. This is the mid-season premiere, so I guess we are all happy to be back, right? We have all the DC TV shows returning, all our favorites, including a new one, and I'll be doing a DC TV ranking this Saturday, because why not? I enjoy ranking things, so it makes sense to rank the DC TV shows among each other. So I won't be telling you how this episode ranks amongst the other DC shows this week. I'll save that for then. So let's just talk about Arrow today and what I thought about this comeback. I actually did think this was a really nice return to the show. I like seeing that we have the team still divided, where we left them last time. I was gonna call them newbies, but like they've been part of the show since last season. I like seeing how they're trying to move on, and eventually they decide to form a group together, which I thought was really cool, or not cool, but I thought it was an obvious choice for them to do. I didn't think they were going to do that. I was actually worried that by the end of the episode, they were all going to shake hands and say, hey guys, I'm sorry for what happened, let's move on. And that kind of did happen. But then, thankfully, Curtis and Renee and Dinah think, you know what, Oliver, we appreciate that you tried to reach back to us, but we decided to go on our own. And I thought that was a really cool ending for the three of them, where Curtis brought the other two to this secret headquarters, their new headquarters that they're going to be operating in. I actually think that it's going to be interesting to see two different superhero teams right now, or vigilante teams, I should say, in Star City, operating, trying to catch the same bad guys. They're both obviously working on different ways, and we're going to. I think this is going to be the new team, the B team's way of proving themselves to Oliver and friends that they are capable at handling situations like this. I think by the end of the season, we will see them. Before the end of the season, we will see them get back together with Oliver. And I wouldn't be surprised if Curtis's new headquarters becomes their permanent headquarters. I wouldn't be surprised. Especially now that, Kate and James and all these criminals now all know where Oliver's hidden base is. I believe if Kate and James knows and Evil Laurel knows, I guarantee you the rest of them probably know too. Kate and James is gonna let everybody know, and eventually they're gonna crash into the Arrow Cave and destroy shit. And that's where Oliver is gonna be thinking to himself, you know what, we're gonna need a new place. And Curtis says, hey, since we're joining forces again, why don't you come live with us? That's what I think is gonna happen towards the end of the season. There are rumors that Huntress and Colton Haynes is supposed to return as Arsenal, so we'll see how they factor into all of this. Speaking of Huntress, apparently the Bertinelli legacy still continues. I believe this was her cousin. He looked like an uncle to me, but fine, okay, it's her cousin. Unless I missed something, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, apparently, I think it was Kate and James that mentioned that that was Helena's cousin. So, if not, then I'm wrong, but they're related. That's all you need to know. So, Oliver aligns himself with him, and obviously is betrayed later on. I actually did like that scene sometime earlier in the episode where Oliver goes to track down Kate and James, and he's surrounded by all the villains, including Vigilante. I thought that was a really cool scene, especially how he escapes right after. And then we kind of get a really cool fight scene again with all the villains in Arrow. That's where Arrow is betrayed by the Bertinelli character. And there was a really cool action sequence with Oliver against Vigilante at one point too. Dinah obviously learns about Vigilante, and I'm glad she kind of blamed herself when she just went in telling him, hey, I know what you did, Oliver told me, blah, 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 and Vigilante takes her out. And then she kind of blamed herself, thinking maybe that was too rash of a decision. That's the problem with some of these characters sometimes. They're always making these rash decisions and then realizing afterwards, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I overreacted. It's funny because I think there was a channel on YouTube that did a video. It was a parody of Arrow. What the truth about Arrow, or if Arrow was honest, I think it was called. If you search it up on YouTube, I forgot what the YouTube channel was called right now, but I'm subscribed to them, and they kind of had a little fun with that idea, how people are always like getting angry at each other, and then the next minute they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's kind of how it is sometimes with the CW shows. But I'm glad. Sometimes they get things out of the way, but sometimes there's certain things that they should be taking time with, because it does help change the dynamic of the show. And sometimes you do need that change, as long as it's a long-term change and not like the things we want revealed quickly are like the secrets. You know, when there's someone's identity that we don't know, that's when we want something revealed quicker. But when it's something like this, where it affects the characters and their way of thinking, I think that's something we want to spend a little bit more time with, before, especially if they're planning on putting it back to normal, because it allows the characters to grow a bit and hopefully allows them to learn something that hopefully they don't fall back on later on. We also get some nice little moments with Thea and Quentin Lance. I find it funny they woke up Thea to just basically do what she was doing in season 5, just as someone who hangs out at the mayor's office. And I find it funny how much mayor duty. I guess he was doing some mayor duties earlier on in the season, right? We get a brief mention of William, that he's being taken care of by the maid. Yeah, for the most part, you know what? In looking at the episode, I thought it was a really nice return. I thought it was a really good episode. I thought I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice comeback to after the winter finale. So I am looking forward to seeing what else is going to be happening. I think Michael Emerson is killing it as Caden James. I think Evil Laurel is the best for Katie Cassidy. I think she has never been better on this show. If you were someone that was disappointed with the Laurel Lance character from the beginning, I'm really hoping you are being won over by this new version of the character, because I am loving her, and I'm loving that they're setting up her redemption arc. They're definitely setting it up here, especially with the Thea and Lance interactions. They were kind of giving us a little bit of hope that, you know what, maybe Laurel, just like Malcolm, who was once evil and then ended off as a good guy, maybe this Laurel can also have that future. While Lance was looking in his book, something did kind of rub me the wrong way. I thought there should have been some pictures of Sarah in there, because that's also his daughter. And it's been a while since we saw Sarah stopping by to see her father, hasn't it? I know the actor who plays Quentin was in the crossover episode, but that wasn't the Lance that we knew. That was the Lance from Earth X. Yeah, I think Lance needs to drop by the Legends of Tomorrow soon for an episode, or Sarah pops by back on Arrow. After all, she started off as Arrow, so it wouldn't be wrong for her to pop by for at least an episode or two. I think it would be nice. Find a way to find Sarah to come back, meet her father once in a while. We need some of that interaction. So with that being said, guys, comment below. Tell me what you thought of this episode of Arrow. Did you think this was a nice little comeback? Are there any theories or anything that you guys might think might happen? Do you think Arrow's team will stay separate for a while, or do you think they will come back together sooner rather than later? Comment below and share your thoughts, because my thoughts aren't the only ones that matter. Everybody's thoughts do. Everybody who's a fan of the show, everybody's opinions matter on this. So with that being said, like this video, subscribe to my channel, especially if you are a huge fan of the Arrowverse. And until this Saturday when I do my DC TV rankings, take care.